Hey, it's about time that I focus on Romans 1:26-27. This is the loaded passage, and it has been the main verse that people use to reject homosexuals. I'm not going to start by reading this verse like I normally do, but I'm going to give you a context for this. Romans opens with Paul's intent. He is writing to the Roman Christians. But in verse 21 and 23, or through 23, we learn that they had fallen away and returned to the Roman paganism. A common practice among the pagan fertility cults was to engage in orgies. Because of these orgies and the frequency of their happenings, STDs were everywhere. Romans 1:26-27, according to the KJV, reads, "For this cause God gave them up into vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use unto that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of women, burned in their lust one towards another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was met." NIV translates this as, "Because of this, God gave them over to shameful lusts. Even their women exchanged natural relations for unnatural ones. In the same way, the men also abandoned natural relations with women, and were inflamed with lust for one another. Men committed indecent acts with other men, and received in themselves the due penalty for their perversion." If we start at the beginning of this verse, the phrase, "because of this," or "for this cause," is referring to the Christians who turned back to the pagan religions of Rome. This is emphasized more by the phrase that follows, "adema pathos," which is translated as either vile affections or shameful lusts. These are not the lusts or affections present in everyday life, but seem to refer to the frenzied state of mind that many ancient mystery cults induced in worship by means of wine, drugs, and music. The next problems we run into is with the words exchanged or changed the natural. In Greek, this phrase is metalasso phosikos. So they traded something they already had for another that was new to them. Many scholars would say that this would stand for heterosexuals doing homosexual acts when they are not homosexual, or even to homosexuals doing heterosexual acts when they are not heterosexual. However, if we look at the way unnatural is worded in Greek, we are led to believe that this is not the case, and in fact, that this is about cultural aspect of life, not a spiritual or moral prohibition. The words translated as against nature are paraphosis. In English, this is beyond what is ordinary or usual. The word unconventional might be a better translation. We know that this is not a condemnation phrase in any sorts, because God is described as acting paraphysis in Romans 11:24, just a few chapters later. This selected verse ends by telling them that they will receive their due penalty of their error which was met. Which again, if they were in orgies because of their fertility cults, and again were getting STDs because of this, that is their due penalty. So, as you can see, Romans 1:26 has little if anything to do with homosexuality as known today, as practiced today, as believed today. And many scholars support this, and I happen to be one of them.